Good morning. How are you diddling? Excellent. Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another live video on the week that a lot of people are slowly but surely creeping their way back into the office, into the workplace this week. A lot of stores reopening, that kind of stuff. If you didn't know what this is already and it's your first time joining us, this is Dazed and Confused, which is a daily live video trying to help you become less dazed and confused about social media, about video, the stuff you can do with it yourself, rather than paying necessarily an agency to do it for you. So there's all sorts of stuff you can do yourself for free. We'll kind of cover some of those off today. We're going to be talking about case studies as well, and just answering your social media and video questions too. So if you've got anything you'd like to ask, stick it into the comments on your channel that you're watching on right now, and we'll do our best to answer as many of them as we possibly can. We're live on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, a couple of Facebook groups, and we're also live right now here on Instagram Live as well. So wherever you're watching, say hello. Drop us a message and we'll do our best to answer as many of your questions as we can do. First things first, though, who the hell am I to tell you anything? Well, I'm Simon Scholes. I run Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency, and we help brands and businesses create content that helps them stand out on their social media, be it short-form video content, animations, aerial work, photography, graphics, all different kinds of stuff that we try and help them to stand out on their social media platforms. However, a few years ago, it became quite obvious to me that not necessarily every brand, every business had the budget to have content created on a regular basis. But understanding that social media is about consistency, it's about putting out content on a regular basis, I wanted to try and help as many smaller businesses and as many other businesses as well start putting out content on that regular basis. So what could they do themselves that wouldn't necessarily cost them any money, but maybe cost them a bit of time? So I came up with a process called How to 9 Times Your Social Media. I turned it into a former #1 book. You can now get that book completely free. I'm giving it away during this lockdown period for nothing. You can get hold of that book and it'll take you through the whole process and help you start creating content for your brand, for your business. That won't cost you a penny to make, but will make the content that you're creating work harder for you. Because that's the biggest issue for most people, is time. When you speak to any brand, any business about why they're not doing what they should be doing on social media, within their marketing, within all sorts of different types of things, it is, well, I don't have the time to do it. So rather than making life even more difficult for you, I came up with this process so that you had the time. All you had to do was create one piece of content, and that piece of content could help you create many other pieces of content to use on your social media. So if you want to know more about that, the link is in my pants. Go and click on that, and you will be able to download my book for free and take you through the whole process, the whole creative process, from planning all the way through to podcasting and everything else in between. Okay, excellent. Let's say a quick few hellos. Hello to Miles, who's tuned in normally right now on the normal portal right here. And we've also got Instagram Live going right live here. Hello to United Visual. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll give them a quick wave. I haven't done that yet. And also hello to Kuza, who's just joined us on Instagram as well. And no, I haven't killed Max yet. I'm doing a pretty good job of being daddy daycare, I like to think. Anyway, right. So today we're going to talk about case studies. Going to skim over this very briefly. Not a lot of questions through at the moment either. So if you've got any questions, get in touch right now. Otherwise, we can all go off and enjoy the sunshine after this. So yeah, case studies. I've spoken quite a bit about these over the last, whatever it is, 9 weeks that we've been doing these lives on a daily basis. And case studies are such a powerful tool for every brand, for every business, a really great way to showcase what it is that you do, how you do it. And the question is a lot of people go, well, do I really need to be doing case studies? I've already got testimonials. Well, they kind of are one and the same thing, but you can do a lot more with a case study. You can really delve deeper into the story behind why you're doing that particular project. So whether you're an architect and you're working with a particular client on helping them put together a new layout in their home and putting in a new staircase, or whether you're an accountant and you're working with a particular client because they're starting out a new warehouse and you're helping them understand where they can make money and where they can save money on that warehouse being put together, and all those kind of things, and the tax implications. There are case studies available for everybody in every single different kind of path that you have as a career or as the work that you actually enjoy doing. So you need to look at how you could create a case study connected to that. Now, the best way for most people, and this is going to sound obvious coming from a visual agency, but the best way is by video, because what you can do is you can sit down, you can set your camera up. It doesn't have to be a professional coming in to do it, although it would be better if it was, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a professional coming in to do it. But when you get that case study kind of story that you want to tell, then you can get the person that you're doing the work with and you can sit down and interview them. You can find out why they're getting that work done in the first place, because they might not necessarily have wanted to come to you, or you might not have instigated the work to be done. They might have wanted the work doing, and then they've come to you and why they've worked with you and all that kind of stuff. And then you can interview yourself and anybody else who's been involved in the process of that project taking place and being done. And then you've got all this great footage that you can put together in one great big case study video. And you can take small elements out of the project where you were working as well. So you can show videos of you working with the client. You can show videos of the project being done. So if it is architecture, time lapses of staircases being ripped out, new staircases being put in, painting being done, all that kind of stuff. If you are a car garage and you've worked with a particular client renovating a car, you could show that kind of stuff, a bit like car SOS almost. There's all sorts of different things you can do for lots of different areas of expertise. So don't believe there's not a case study that you could do for anything that you're doing right now. And it is just a case of now and again getting some photographs taken maybe, or grabbing a quick little bit of video that you can use within your case study video or case study projects that you're going to put together. So just very quickly saying hello to a few people. So, for example, you don't necessarily have to do it by video, which is the area that I would recommend you go down. But if you don't do by video, how else can you do case studies? Well, you can do case studies in a textual format. So you could have a blog that's written about the process that you've gone through working with the client. You could still do that interview with the client and have their answers put into that blog, so that you can say, we were working with Bob and Bob wanted us to do X. This is why Bob wanted us to do X. And then Bob's answer could be typed in, and there you've got Bob's answer. And then you go back to the next part of the story and so on and so forth. And then you put photographs in there that are showing the process and showing Bob perhaps, and showing you having a meeting with Bob. These are just little things that can be done really quickly and really easily. You don't need a lot. You just need a phone and maybe a tripod, and then you set it up and take the photograph. Or you can have, like I say, a video team come in and help you recreate that content with Bob, and then you've got that kind of stuff. So case studies can be done in many different formats, and don't believe necessarily that video is the only way. Video is probably the most powerful way that you can show what it is that you did and how you worked with the person that you worked with and why they worked with you and why you worked so well together, because that's what you want to show. You want to show that emotional connection between you and your current client, so anybody who's watching could potentially think, wow, they seem like a really cool team to work with. I'd quite like to be a client of theirs as well. You can still do that in a textual format, but it's not really got the same emotional connection between you and the customer that you're working with at the time. But it can still portray the storyline of why you've done what you've done, and also it can still portray the connection as to why they've worked with you and the process that you've gone through. But don't negate the power of a case study for your brand and for your business. There's such a great way of actually just portraying what it is that you do, showing off what you do. And yeah, that's kind of what social media is all about, really, a little bit, is showing off. Yes, it's all about giving value and being social and everything else like that. But when it comes down to the cold, hard facts, we're trying to use social media to draw people into the fact that we can give value, that we can help them. But at some point down the line, we'd love them to become a customer. And if they're going to become a customer, why are they going to become a customer? Well, they've got loads of value from you. They've connected with you emotionally, but they're still not sure. Or show them how great you are to work with. And that's what the case study can do. So think about case studies for your brand, for your business, for your social media, whether it be a case study, like I say, as a blog, a case study as a video. That video can then be used on lots of different platforms, of course, on Facebook, YouTube. It could be even used on Instagram if it's a very short video under 60 seconds. It can be used in all sorts of different places. So don't be afraid to start talking to some of your former clients maybe about the potential of putting together a case study for the work that you've done for them. They may be a client from a couple of years ago, but as long as they got great service from you, and I'm sure they did, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to, just answer a few questions, maybe do it on video, but maybe do it on Skype and record the Skype call, or do it on Zoom and record the Zoom call, or what have you, if they're willing to do that. And if they're not willing to do that, then get them to maybe answer some questions on an email or what have you, and then you can do a blog version of it. But just start thinking about case studies as a powerful piece of content that you could use for your brand and for your business. And if you want to take it that step further, actually get it on a level for quality wise, definitely speak to an agency, maybe us or somebody else local to you, who could help you create a video version of that case study, because it will be super powerful. And if it does look good as well, then you're onto a real winner. Okay, let's say a few quick hellos to people who've joined us. Jay Vass, who's joined us this morning, who is an MC, lovely guy, and also Faith Ruto as well has joined us this morning. So thank you very much, Faith, for joining us this morning. Falling over my teeth, I've got the wrong false teeth in this morning. Right, let's have a quick look at a couple of the questions that have come in, and then we'll call it a day, unless you guys have got any questions at all. If you do, please stick them into the comments, whatever platform you're watching on right now, and we'll do our best to go through as many of them as we possibly can do. Okay, so Carl is asking the question, my Instagram isn't growing at the moment, but I am posting once or twice a day. Why else do you think my content might not be growing, or my channel might not be growing? Okay. Right. How do I put this? Is your content crap? Without wanting to be really awful, there comes a point where if you're doing the right things, there's a reason why people aren't necessarily diving in and wanting to actually like your content. Now, I don't know what your content is or what it's like situated around, so I can't make any real assumptions. And saying your content's crap is probably the first point of call. Is your content any good? And that doesn't mean necessarily that it is pictorially good. So it could be visually stunning, but what is it you're trying to portray within your content? So the fact of the matter is people don't want to be sold to. So if every single piece of content you're putting out is visually stunning, but every single piece of content you put out is also hard selling to the people who are looking at your content, they're more than likely not going to interact with it, because you've not spent any time building a brand, building a level of value between you and them. They need to be connected to you emotionally. Like I was talking about with the case studies, if somebody's not connected to you emotionally and people buy on emotion, then they are not going to click on your links, and they're not going to click on your content and give it a like or potentially share it within their Instagram stories. It's just not going to happen. So you have to connect to them emotionally with that visual, and then draw them into the description where you're going to give them more value, and then draw them into the back end of your description where you're going to say, visit my profile, click my link, find out more about me. Would love to have a chat if you have any questions, that kind of thing. Not hard selling. You just can't do hard sell all the time on social media. It just doesn't work that way anymore. Back when it first launched, like over a decade ago, you'd be fine putting the hard sell now and again, or in fact all the time on social media, because nobody else was really using social media. So for those people who were, it was like, okay, well, actually, yeah, I do need some new decking. And this guy's selling me he can do it. And he's telling me he can do it over and over again. I think I'll have a word with him. But now we're so saturated with messages all the time of things that people want us to buy, that you need to stand out. And the way to stand out is not to necessarily constantly push buying your product, and is actually to start giving some value, help people out in your area of expertise, and then dive in with that sell now and again. Or if you're wanting to sell more often, then why not look at having specific content created? So speak to an agency that is local to you or someone like us, and they will hopefully, if they're worth their salt, take you through the whole process and help you understand what content you actually need to succeed in the sale of your product. But in the meantime, you still need to be creating that content that's got value in it, because they still need to have that emotional connection to you in the first place. Because people might see your advert and go, that's a really great advert. I want to know more about them. And then they go to your page and every single piece of content's a hard sell. And then they're just going to go, oh, well, this person's just constantly selling. Well, what value am I going to get from them? They're not removing any pain for me. Balls to them, and they go to the next person. If they come to your social media pages and see all the value you've given after loving the piece of creative content that you've put out that's been created by you or by an agency you worked with, then they're more than likely going to go, right, I want to find out more about these guys. Let's click on their link that they want me to click on, fill in the details, and get dropped into their funnel and find out more about what they can offer me, because they want that service of got brought into you by the value you've given, by the emotional connection you've created with them. Then there's a doubling of the emotional connection by the fact that you've created a piece of content that shows them how you remove pain for them in that area of expertise. So then they want to come and find out more about you and hopefully become a customer. So yeah, I would stop worrying necessarily about the numbers that you're getting on your content and think a little bit more deeply about the content that you're putting out. Like I say, I don't know what kind of content you're putting out, but crap can cover a lot of different segments, and you've just got to understand, is your content crap? Is it crap in the fact that it is literally the worst photograph ever with no description and no hashtags? In which case, why the hell would anybody like it? Or is it a case of, like I say, it's a crap in a different way and you're actually just trying to sell all the time, or lots of different elements could be going wrong? If you want to know more, drop me an email. I'll do my best to answer your questions if I can do. My email right now is scrolling across the bottom of the screen if you're watching on the live or on the replay. And if you're listening to the podcast from this, my email is in the description box below. And let's have a quick look to see who's joined us. McGinley's CC have joined us this morning. Thank you very much for popping in and joining us on the live. Okay, here's a good one. Hey, hope you're well. Today is a good example of a business under pressure. Had my posts planned for today and left my USB at home, and now once again will not get a post out until late this evening. So you can. What are you going to be working on today? Take some really quick, simple photos, some quick videos of you doing those pieces of work and post them onto your Instagram stories, post them onto TikTok, post them onto Snapchat, post them onto Twitter, post them onto your Facebook business page. They're not the perfect pieces of content that you necessarily wanted to post, but it will give that behind the scenes effect of what it is that you're doing today. Knowing you're a carpentry business and knowing that you're a construction business, you might be working on site, you might be working in your offices, whatever. Show some people the behind the scenes aspect of what it is that you do. So don't necessarily worry so much about what you had planned. Yes, it's great to have a plan in place, but chuck some of that organic stuff out there. Chuck some of that stuff that people want to see on those channels where people might not necessarily always see it. So put your behind the scenes stuff on Instagram stories, not on your main feed. That's where you put your perfect planned content, and put it out onto TikTok, put it onto Snapchat, put it onto Facebook, put it out onto Twitter. Get it out there. You can still be putting content out today, so don't use it as an excuse, and don't wait until this evening. If you've got an audience that would be watching at lunchtime, which is what it is right now, then start putting some content out now. Go around the office, go around your workshop, go around the site where you're working on. Take some photos, get those posted. Today we're working on this particular project. Bang, bang, bang. Quick photos, done, dusted. It's a great piece of content. You're giving some behind the scenes. You're showing a great example of what it is that you do, and that's effectively almost a bit like the case studies kind of thing. And then you've got great content as well for when you do put your case study together later on, once the project's over and done with. So don't use it as an excuse. Do not. Okay, right. Let's have a quick check, see if we've got any other questions today. Otherwise, we're going to make it a short episode because let's face it, the sun is shining. A lot of people are going back to work this week. So let's make the most of it. Let's make the most of the sunshine, but also make the most of these daily lives, because I think this is probably going to be my last week of doing them every single day for 7 days a week. This would be, like I said, I think this is week number 10 of me doing these every single day. So I think what we'll do is maybe cut them down and start doing them maybe 3 times a week or something like that. But anyway, we'll judge it. We'll judge it. But yeah, it's been hard work doing these 7 days a week. As much as I've enjoyed it and as much as I've loved answering the questions, it's been an interesting period of time, shall we say. Anyway, good morning to Mark, who's just joined us on Instagram Live. I am about to close shop, but if you do have any questions, quickly get them in on your platform of choice. We may answer one or two more questions while I'm doing my closeout. If you do want to ask any questions and you're kind of scared to stick your hand up in the air like you were in class or what have you when you were a kid, then my email address, like I say, is scrolling across the bottom of the screen for either the live or the replay. And if you're listening to the podcast, stick your question down below by clicking on my email address there. Drop me an email with your question, and we can either answer it on email or we can put it in tomorrow's live video and answer your questions that way. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. As always, if you are brand new, how about you hit subscribe? That would be pretty cool, whatever platform you are watching on. Also, while you're at it, you've just hit the subscribe button. How about you move your mouse or your thumb ever so slightly to one side and click that share button as well. If you've got value from this, then hopefully your audience may get value from it as well. If you know other people who are trying to build a brand, trying to build a business, all the content I've been doing over these last 10 weeks for 7 days a week has been aimed at trying to help you create content that you can do yourself for free. There are times when obviously paying for stuff to be done is also apt, but most of the stuff I've been chatting to you about is about what you can do yourself for free or for very little cost. So share that content out with your audience. Hopefully they can get some value from it as well. We can keep building the audience, keep getting brand new questions coming in. Even once all this craziness is over, I think I'm going to keep doing these live videos because I think they're valuable, and also I really enjoy doing them as well. So yeah. Anyway, right, I'm going to disappear. There's no more questions coming. So have a great rest of your, what day is it? It's Monday. Have a great rest of your Monday. And I will catch you tomorrow morning around about 11:30. Max is with the childminder tomorrow for a few hours. So I get a little bit of respite. So I may see you slightly earlier than usual. But until then, stay safe today. Go and enjoy the sunshine and have a great rest of your Monday. I'll catch you tomorrow.